like button, subscribe. Yeah, there's something really exciting coming up on July 12th. Turkey Al Sheikh made it possible to get all these fighters together. Um, I'm really impressed with the way he was able to make the Puello versus Matias fight. But I kind of feel like they're setting up Matias to lose. He's ranked number 1 for the IBF. He's the mandatory for Hitchinson, but he has to relinquish his number 1 spot to fight Puello. I think Puello is a more difficult fight than Hitchison, I believe. I totally believe. But I think that it's a 50-50 fight, but it's not a guarantee win for Subriel Matias against Puello. I feel like it's probably not a guarantee for Puello to beat Subriel Matias, but Puello does have a lot of boxing skills, and he looked impressive against Russell, Gianchon Russell. He was undefeated before he faced Puello, and then Puello put a first loss on his record. I'm excited about the William Zepeda fight versus Shakur Stevenson. A lot of people that don't really know boxing, they just race fans. They think that that this guy William Zepeda is going to be a really, really tough fight for Shakur Stevenson. I think that a lot of people are sadly mistaken. They're overrating William Zepeda. He's a good fighter, don't get me wrong. William Zepeda is a decent power puncher. He's more of accumulation shots. He's not really that much of a power puncher. I think he is. He has some power, but he doesn't have one punch KO, and he throws a lot of combinations, which is good. It's very exciting for boxing. But I feel like he's very slow and he's very, very telegraphic with his combinations. William Zepeda in his last fight against Farmer, I wasn't impressed with his victory. I thought that if Tevin Farmer was able to give him trouble, and he wasn't even able to stop him, I totally believe that he's gonna have more difficulty with a much more skillful fighter in Shakur Stevenson, and I feel Shakur Stevenson is gonna dominate him. I feel it's gonna be tough in the early rounds, maybe, but I just feel like William Zepeda is just too slow for Shakur Stevenson. That's my honest opinion, and I know a lot of people are probably turned off that don't really know the boxing pedigree of Shakur Stevenson. They cater more to a power brawler, a power hitter, but you have to look at all the intangibles, and I feel like Shakur Stevenson is ahead of his time, and he's not a runner like a lot of people that don't really know boxing would say that he's a runner. He only did that with De Los Santos because he hurt his hand. But he still won the fight, even though he didn't look impressive in that fight. But I feel like Shakur Stevenson actually fights in the pocket, and he could actually stand right in front of you and still not get hit cleanly or at all, and still outland his opponents and take advantage of their weaknesses and their limitations as far as brawlers and fighters like William Zepeda. I think Shakur Stevenson is poison for fighters like that. And don't get me wrong, I think William Zepeda is a tough brawler. He throws a lot of combinations. He's talented, but I think he's just too slow, too telegraphic, and too limited for Shakur Stevenson, in my honest opinion. And I feel that Tevin Farmer gave him trouble, and he definitely landed. I think in the 12th round, he landed a lot on William Zepeda, Farmer. And the fight was actually close, and it wasn't an easy victory for him. So I could only imagine a much more skillful fighter like Shakur Stevenson dominating him even more. And he's going to get his flowers one day, Shakur Stevenson. I think he's the truth. And between Subriel Matias and Puello, I think that's a really, really tough fight for Subriel Matias. A lot of people don't think that Subriel Matias can handle a boxer like that. They might have difficulty, but then there's a lot of people that feel that Puello's going to have difficulty with that relentless, consistent volume punch of Subriel Matias. And Subriel Matias has beaten boxers before. He's beaten boxers that before, like in his career, like Russian fighters, Inanian. Like there was another fighter he fought that was, I think, after Inanian, before he got the number 1. Yeah, I'm sweating in my car, man. Kanye East, oil up. What's going on, my brother? Subscribe to that channel. Tony also knows boxing. I I feel like I don't know who's gonna win that fight with Subriel Matias versus Puello. That's a very very interesting matchup and very competitive. And I feel like what's up, my brother Kanye East? I feel like uh, it's possible that an upset can happen, that Puello could win it, and I also feel that it's possible that Subriel Matias could win that fight, depending on who uses their advantage over the other. And I don't know. I just feel like that's a very risky fight for Subriel Matias as far as boxing ability. If he beats because Puello has a lot of boxing ability, but if Subriel Matias is able to come through with that fight, he would be able to prove a lot of doubters and haters wrong that his fight with Liam Pardo was a fluke, and I feel like that fight was bought out really. Dominicans getting too hyped for Puello. Puello is a good fighter, but Matias has sparred Puello since 2017, and Puello has nothing new from Matias. Oh, I didn't know that, Coqui. That's a comment from Coqui. He says Dominicans getting too hyped for Puello. Puello's a good fighter, but Matias has sparred Puello since 2017, and Puello has nothing new from Matias. So, I didn't know that. So that's pretty interesting, Koki. I think that Subriel Matias has a great chance of winning based on what you said. And I feel like, in sparring is different than actually fighting in the ring, but I feel that Subriel Matias does have a chance to beat him. I think it's a 50-50 fight. And who knows if Subriel Matias knows something that we don't know or some enough about Puello since he sparred with him in the ring. He might have some advantages, but I think it's an interesting matchup. And of course, I'm going for Subriel Matias, the Puerto Rican, the Boricua. You know what I mean? So yeah, subscribe to my channel, Tony Also Knows Boxing. And what do you think about the berlanga fight with Shariz? They say that Shariz is chosen by Turkey Al Sheikh. They're really trying to promote him. I know he had a fight with somebody. He stepped up. He stepped up in competition, and a lot of people saying he lost that fight and he should have not gotten the victory. But he's fighting for a title eliminator, both of them, Sharice and Berlanga. They're fighting for a title eliminator, which I don't believe they deserve to be a title eliminator because Berlanga has lost to, he lost to, you know, Canelo, Canelo Spinello. So I'm like, what has he proven? And I feel like it's just boxing politics because he has a big name, but he hasn't really accomplished anything. Yeah. So, all right, Koki, severely never take days off. Invest in your time on waking up at 3 a.m. and run and build your mental toughness. Listen to your coach. Take care of your mental health and have healthy people around you. Yeah, you need positivity around you, and you need people that are like-minded around you to be successful. Matias and Puello didn't fight each other because of their friendship in the past. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know they had a friendship, Koki. Thanks for all this wonderful information. Yeah, I'm taking time on my lunch break. But do you feel that Berlanga versus Sharisi, a fighter that Turkey Al Sheikh is promoting, do you think that should be the main event? Because they're saying that on July 12th, they're going to be the main event to that stacked card, which also is going to have David Morrell versus Kataev, which is undefeated. I think he's a Russian fighter, 10-0 with 9 KOs. And it's an interesting fight because we're going to see how David Morrell looks after losing to David Benavidez. So I feel that's an interesting fight, even though nobody knows who Kataev is. Oh, if you want to box severely unfunny, I'm thinking about boxing. Any advice? Hey, if you want to get into it, you got to be dedicated. You got to be consistent. You got to have a good team around you, like my brother Koki said, and you have to stay focused. And it's not for the weak, So if you feel like you're mentally, physically, and spiritually strong to get into boxing, you should get into it. Nobody should stop what they want to do. You should give it a try. You should never let anybody stop you from wanting to achieve your goals. Even if some people may disagree with you. That's my advice for you, my brother. Severely unfunny. Furman Garrick, Subriel Matias needs to fight Liam Amparo. I mean, you mean Liam Amparo again? Has not overcome skills of a boxer. I don't agree. I feel like that fight. He was holding a lot, Liam Amparo, and I feel like it was. I already know based on the behind the scenes of what Subriel Matias has alluded to that fight they actually paid off on Subriel Matias to lose, to give him his own pay-per-view, and to allow Eddie Hearn's boxer, Liam Pardo, to fight Hitchinson and move him up, and then eventually have Hitchinson beat him and to have control of the belt. So they made an agreement with Subriel Matias. He had to sell out, I think, basically on what he said and what I have put together based on my information. Did you know where I can get a coach? Sorry about the username. No, no, it's all right. I don't know. Just research around where you live, where you can get a coach, and take it from there. There's probably a lot of boxing programs. Where do you live? Exactly. There's probably a lot of boxing programs where you live in your city. Just find out. Yeah. So I don't agree that berlanga should be the main event with between Shirizi, but I feel that the main event should be Puello, Subriel Matias, or basically, of course, Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda. I mean, that's another good fight. You know, I think that William Zepeda is a tough brawler, but I think he's limited. He's too slow. He throws a lot of combinations, but if he had trouble with Farmer, I believe he's going to have a lot more trouble with Shakur Stevenson. And I feel like Shakur Stevenson is the truth, and he could stay in the pocket and still outbox you and not get hit and actually hurt somebody, but not. It's not a high chance that he could hurt, William Zepeda, but you never know. Speed is power sometimes. But I feel like the David Morrell fight is interesting versus Kataev, the Russian 10-0 with 9 KOs. I feel like the main event should be between Matias versus Puello or William Zepeda versus Shakur Stevenson. What do you guys think? Send me some comments and tell me your what you think in the comments. Give me your opinion, and that's what I got for now. Subscribe to my channel, Tony Also Knows Boxing. Subscribe to that channel. One love. Subscribe. Have a great day. July 12th. That fight is going to be July 12th. It's going to be on the zone, and Turkey Al-Sheikh doesn't know whether he's going to make it for free on the zone or pay-per-view. He hasn't decided yet. But I heard that also Luis Collazo is actually going to be on the undercard. No problem, Civilian Funny. Thanks for your time. Yeah, don't worry about it. I appreciate you tuning in. Subscribe to that channel and tell everybody about Tony Also Knows Boxing. Subscribe to my channel. Oscar Collazo. I said Luis Collazo. Wrong person. I put Oscar Collazo is going to be on the fight as well. I don't know if he's going to open up for that stack card that Turkey Al-Sheikh is going to put on, but Turkey Al-Sheikh has alluded, whether he hasn't alluded specifically whether it's going to be on pay-per-view, the zone, or free the zone, but it's going to be on the zone. And it's July 12th, and Oscar Collazo might be the one opening up for the card. I don't think he's going to be the main event. They probably don't have an opponent for him. That's probably why they didn't really mention him, but he is a possible candidate to be on that stack card. So subscribe to my channel. Tony Also Knows Boxing. Subscribe to that channel. I don't have no predictions for Puello versus Matias. I mean, that's a really tough fight for Matias. As far as the boxing ability, he would really impress me if he actually stops Puello. And I feel like it's a tough fight for Puello as well because the relentlessness of Subriel Matias. And based on what Koki said in the comments, Subriel Matias has sparred with him and knows his style. So he might be able to overcome a lot of things. So we will see. Puerto Rico versus Dominican Republic. That's going to be interesting. Subriel Matias versus Puello. And I got William Zepeda losing to Shakur Stevenson. I feel like Shakur Stevenson is the truth, and a lot of people are giving too much credit to Zepeda. Oh, severely unfunny. When I'm a boxer, I will thank you all. I appreciate it. And don't forget to shout me out. Tony also gave you some good advice. And thank everybody for tuning in over here and subscribing and subscribe to my channel, Tony Also Knows Boxing. And I appreciate you, severely unfunny. Check out my music on all major platforms on Spotify, Pandora, YouTube. My new single, Mi Patria, and new album, Mi Patria, is gonna have 10 songs, bomba plena. Very soulful, poetic, revolutionary music for Puerto Rico. And I also have another album, The Essence of Who I Am, that's going to have a famous dance artist on one of my songs. I can't mention his name yet, but everybody will know who it is when I mention it. But there's 2 albums. I'm dedicating the second album, The Essence of Who I Am, to my mother. God rest her soul. I got Afro beats, R&B, dance music. I got trap music, but I'm singing on it. So check that out. One love. Subscribe to my channel, Tony Also Knows Boxing, July 12th, a stack card.